We all want to seek the truth. We all want the truth because the truth is beneficial to us. The truth, that is how we want to know the best methods for everything. Fasting, diet, nutrition, every single person is getting more and more information in. But the important thing is not just to talk about these things. So for example, are you doing OMAD or are you talking about doing OMAD? It is important that you apply the things, because this is not, it's not a lie. OMAD and fasting and everything is not a lie. You have to implement everything into your lives. It's a whole lifestyle. The ascetic human lifestyle is you're human, and yet it's ascetic because we cut out everything that is unnecessary, even, literally from the fat from the body, but also, excess everything, excess books, excess, plants, excess everything, clothes, everything, friends that aren't friends, truly, you keep your close friends, of course, whoever that is, you create your friends, all right? You create your whole life. So it is important, we're all truth seekers. Technically, we're all truth seekers. Just that most people are in the ground state, always in fear, lazy. Well, they're not technically lazy. I mean, look, I don't want you just to call people lazy, because I know that it's pointless to point it out. Perhaps they are lazy, but we're all lazy, technically, because technically everything wants to go down into the lower ground state of energy. That is physics, all right? Atoms do this. You gotta keep giving an atom energy to pull it up to, second level, third level, second level, third level, and so forth. So we humans are the exact same thing as atoms. So, but what I wanted to talk about is, truth, and, I see truth as fleeting truth. It is neither absolute nor is it, totally relative. It is not just random, but it's also not, absolute, because this absoluteness is a phantom of our imagination. The same perfection phantom, it's the same thing. The perfection thing, striving for something that is unattainable, impossible, that is useless. That is a useless lifestyle. This is a lifestyle, the ascetic human lifestyle is a lifestyle of, we cut everything that is unnecessary and we only use whatever works. Whatever has worked, we continue using whatever is working. And whatever is according to our own nature, which means our strengths, all right? We utilize our strengths, we develop ourselves, we develop, we don't look for our weaknesses, we only develop our strengths, because it's useless to just work on weaknesses. Now, obviously, for example, when it comes to training, obviously you want the smaller muscles as well. You want the smaller muscles as well, you want the bigger muscles as well. So the analogy is great here. You want everything here. So it's a, so to speak, a holistic thing. Health, fitness. But it's not just holistic, it is also individual parts. So we want the truth because the truth benefits us. The truth benefits us because when you know how to properly fast, then you can lose all your weight. You can get your life back. When you know how to properly dry fast, you can do the same thing. You can heal your gut, for example. And then you eat again, and then perhaps you want to introduce foods again. But you got to implement these things. And you got to be curious and learn more about your body, and perhaps even read a book about, and you start, when you have a deep purpose, you start researching things that benefits you, that benefits your health, which is the ultimate thing. Of course it is. I mean, the meaning of life, that is the meaning of life. I've already told you, I've already solved the meaning of life. The meaning of life is your subjective experience, always, which means health. Because when health is great, you know, your subjective experience is great. When health is terrible and, you know, gnawing on you within and nagging and, you know, frustrating and so forth, that is unhealth. That is the definition of unhealthy being. So we want the truth so that we can move towards greater health. That is the ultimate reason. That is the ultimate reason for truth. And we're speaking about human condition here, because that is what's relevant for us. It doesn't matter what we're doing. You know, technological and scientific advancement, they're all indirectly or directly for our benefit. Because even space, looking for exoplanets is a way of survival as well. Because if we look at exoplanets, we can populate other planets and our species will survive. You see, the survival mechanism is underlying everything. Even, you know, I want to make money. It's the same thing. I want to make, you know, my books. I want to make this or that. It's the same reason. It's all the same reason. You can bring it back to survival. So, you know, Darwin was correct there, of course. So, but that is nothing new here. But I just want to, you know, repeat this so you never forget this. You shouldn't forget why you're doing things. So you should always ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? But not just, you shouldn't, you know, why am I doing this? There are two ways to do this. You either torture yourself, why am I doing this? Or you reset every once in a while, perhaps once or twice every week, and you go, why am I doing this? And you think, and then what if, and how can I improve, or rather, how can I get to this goal? Which exact steps do I have to take to get to this goal? And you know, we all know the truth. We all know the truth. To finish my book, I have to write approximately 10 pages each and every day, or, you know, 5 pages, whatever your goal is, you know, your mental goal. The same in training, you know, I want to do 10 push-ups times 4, of course. In the beginning, that was it, you know, 10 push-ups, and then 7 push-ups or 7, 8, and then next week I'm gonna do 10, 10, 10. And then, you know, I want to move forward to 20. Now I'm gonna do 20 push-ups every week. And you know, for a long time you go there with 20, and then you go for a long time with 30, and then for a long time with 40, and so forth. So don't be overly ambitious in the beginning. You know, don't go, I'm gonna write 50 pages per day, or I'm gonna have 50 clients per day. You know, focus on one, or, you know, whatever makes you, and reset, you know, always reset. So if this isn't correct, then you go with 7, you know, with 10. There's someone I recognize here. I've partied with this guy. And he was an antisocial guy, by the way. So it looks like him. I think it's him. He's walking exactly the same way. So, all right. So he's working for it. All right. So, so he's a good guy, but, you know, very deeply emotional guy. And well, I'm deeply emotional as well. We should be deeply emotional. Of course we should, because that is human. You see, ascetic human, we always keep our humanity. We'd never suppress or deny our humanity. And we do this in everything, But life should be beautiful, and it should be on your terms. And it should be the way you want it to be. And write down your criteria. What kind of life do I like? Not just what kind of life in general, but like this. All right, so I want to use my phone less and less. All right, so that means I gotta go out there in the world and perhaps, you know, find clients, or perhaps, you know, I wanna write. You know, if I write, I want to do it in a cafe, or, you know, in the park or something. I want to I want to do it where I can meet people. I want to do my work where I can meet people because I'm so sick of, the digital. Because ultimately, we never want to be alone, ultimately. We always seek, because we're social creatures. That is the truth. We are social creatures. So we always build communities, we always build something. Well, the creators are the builders. And then, you have but without the community, you don't have the builder. So you need both, You need the leader and you need the tribe. Without the leader is nothing without the tribe. The CEO is nothing with all the workers. All right, so that's how it is. That's how it is in everything. Without the readers, the author is nothing. He's talking to nothingness. The same way as in Stalker, when he says, the writer in Stalker, watch the movie, it's the best movie in the universe. It's my favorite director, Andrei Tarkovsky. When the author, when the pisatel, when the author, the writer, when he says, if the writer already knows that he's genius, why is he writing then? For whom is he writing? For nothing, it's nothing. There is no, he wouldn't even have written anything if he already knew that he was a genius. And the underlying point there, underneath this, is I'm writing to understand myself, gnothiseuton, like the video from yesterday. Or, well, not or, and you're writing for yourself, but also for others, all right? The deeper meaning is I give something to others, but I also want to see if others see me. Do others see me? So it is attention, of course it is. There is some attention to it. You want to show yourself to the world. You want to show who you are. You want to show your talent, your skill, your capability. You see, I'm a warrior, I'm a leader, I can survive. I'm responsible. Whatever you want to call it, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. So, you see, that is the truth. That is the truth. So, that is all I wanted to talk about today. The truth. Even if it's fleeting, you always want the truth. Who wants a lie? No one wants lying, because lying, not just, it is a contract between people, it's not a contract, but, we understand it from gestures, and, socialization is more than just a contract. Of course, it's not just a contract. It's human emotion, thoughts, but we're connected. We're connected to someone else. It's always, I'm writing because it's to someone else. Otherwise, why am I writing? The genius wouldn't have written otherwise. So that others can make an impression on it and take from it if they need it. So, well, that is the meaning of the author. He gives meaning to others. That's the whole meaning of the author, the artist, the philosopher. Well, technically anyone, any person, a human sentient being. It doesn't have to be human even. It can be an alien, and still it can give meaning to other sentient creatures. You see, it's a sentient creature to another sentient creature. But only, an alien can give. I don't think humans can give to a highly sentient, that might be beyond us. Perhaps not, but we don't know yet because we've never seen someone like that. So we never met that kind of person. Unless you believe in some crazy conspiracy stuff. But, we could talk about that forever as well. But, so, all I wanted to talk about is, truth. Truth is beneficial. Truth, even if it's fleeting, we always want to seek the truth. I used to call myself, always used to call myself soldier of truth, because protector of truth, but it's technically only protecting myself, I'm only... I want the truth because that's beneficial to me. If someone is lying, then I can't trust that person, so that's where a relationship comes in. And if I can't trust that person, we cannot continue doing interactions and transactions in some sense. If it's knowledge, doesn't matter what it is. Now, obviously, we can both be wrong and still have, you know, false knowledge back and forth, but then the relationship is still intact. But if we, you know, if the one starts to question everything, then the relationship can actually, you know, break. But that person might find other people that think this is correct and so forth. So that is how communities happen, you see? That is how you go from individual to group, one step at a time, one person at a time. So I love this, that it should take slower. Everything that is great takes time. My own words, I should listen to my own words always, because, you know, and sometimes when in doubt, listen. When you say these, you know, principles and so forth, listen to them and follow them and apply them. Not just, you know, it's not just, it is for fun. Well, for me, philosophy and thinking is, of course, I love it, but it's not just for fun. You know, I am in reality, there are hardships, so I need to always improve it. Technically not improve it, make it greater. Always make it greater. So, which is different in my opinion. Well, everything here is my opinion, so that's redundant. So we cut everything that's redundant. We only use the truth in everything, in health, in fitness, in thinking, in artistry. Those are actually the things I want to talk about, because that is me. I am that, because I'm essentially teaching my lifestyle, me. I'm teaching how I live, how, you know, and for those who want to live like me, then great, live like me. Or, you know, I can't capture every single person. You see, it's impossible to capture everyone. I capture myself, the individual, but, you know, unique, and then you capture, but also you capture every single person when you reach something universal. You reach something universal, something that is broader in meaning. But you start from small and then you go big. It's always like that. You start your calisthenic, your training, you have small muscles first, then it gets bigger and bigger. Depends on what your goal is, of course, but you should always have clear goals. And you listen to your inner desire, instinct, to understand what your clear goal is. So it's not just write it down, write it like this. I can give you like tips, but ultimately, all these tips are useless unless you apply them. Or, well, technically, even if you apply them, they might be useless still, because you still don't understand yourself quite yet. You see, gnothi seauton. My last video, I mean, all of it is connected. All of it is connected. You still don't understand yourself because you haven't developed yourself. You need to develop a character, your character. You are the character. You're the protagonist of your life, all right? And you're also the antagonist of your own life, because a lot of times you pull yourself down. Because ultimately, and this is what I like with Stoicism, otherwise I don't like much from Stoicism, but the one thing Marcus Aurelius said was, you know, you're the one hurting your own soul. You're the only one that allows you allow yourself to hurt yourself or get hurt by others. You allow yourself to get hurt by others. It doesn't matter, society, close to you, doesn't matter. It's the same. So you see, truth, we want truth in everything. Cut everything we don't need. So, you know, in health, this means, you know, you do similar things in life, because you're like a drop in a droplet in water, and you create patterns, and that is life, because, well, you're the whole thing. You're the process, you're the whole thing. And the patterns will be similar each and every day. And that is how you start loving your nature. How you start, you see, like an animal, like a bird, he just plucks, you know, looks for, you know, food. He doesn't go, why am I looking for food? So that is ultimately part of the goal here. We're self-aware enough to reset and doubt, but also self-aware enough yet again, almost like meta self-aware, to understand that we shouldn't, you know, torture this soul, this whatever spirit, your consciousness. We shouldn't torture ourselves. we should instead embrace, and not just embrace, but improve and develop our character. Always, you know, work on all of our fears, work on all of our inner conflicts, work on all of the, you know, paradoxes, and things will start clear up. Things will start clear up once you do this. Once you do this. But you gotta apply what I'm saying, but not just apply, you gotta self-experiment and see if it works, because it won't be exact the same way for me, for you, all right? Because we're not the exact same person. But in general, it will be, the basics will be the same. There are universals, you know, we need fasting. Every single person has to fast. Every single person has to eat. Every single person has to be physically active. Every single person has to work with something. Every single person has to sleep. Every single person has to feel emotion, and every single person has to think. You see, mind, body. We will always talk about everything, because if we don't, then we're only one part. We want the whole part. I want the whole part, so I will always talk about the whole part, because I want the whole part. When I'm learning, you will learn, and when you're learning, I will learn, and you know, new information in and then new information out, but not just any information, great information, truth. All right, so there, we found the whole, we came back to truth, and truth is, that is truth. We want the truth. We want to be the truth. We want to become the truth in flesh and spirit, so to speak. We want to be true to our own nature. That is also, you know, Stoicism, except that they deny, you suppress parts. We don't do this. We channel parts. We channel them. Perhaps Stoics would say they also channel it, but they actually don't, because you will never face your fear. So an example would be, you know, someone is bothering you beside you, and instead of taking that conflict and being courageous and, you know, having these manly traits. There are manly traits. I can't do anything about that, all right? There are manly traits. If you're a woman, you should have them as well, but if you're a great woman. So, because you shouldn't have fear. So, you need to confront it, not just, you know, oh, I can find another different solution. Right, you can be creative, but deep within, you will feel weak and, you know, ultra beta as a man. You will feel useless, you know, hopeless almost. Well, it depends on how deep this is. Well, it is deep, it's just that you're not always aware of how deep it is, but it is deep. It goes deep. It goes deep down to survival, because I've been in despair, so I know how deep it goes. And it is multi-layered, the same way reality is multi-layered, the body is multi-layered, you know, we have the endocrine system, we have different kind of systems, hormones. So that is it, that's the truth. You gotta face everything. If you have a fear, we have to face them. That is how we solve them. We solve the problem by facing it, facing the fear. That's the only way, you know, the same way with training. The only way to train, and the truth is, you gotta do it. There are no shortcuts. Even if you're taking drugs, there are no shortcuts. You know, you still gotta lift something. Now, obviously, we're all natural here, because it's unhealthy. Drugs are unhealthy. Always, you know, inflammation, creating inflammation. So the whole point of ascetic humanism here is always keeping and always retaining health, never sacrificing health. That is the ultimate purpose here. It will always be this, never sacrificing health, because I already did this. The reason behind this is I already sacrificed my health for art, and in some sense for philosophy as well, art philosophy. You know, I had this mentality of the tragic artist. And you know, you feel sorry for yourself. And well, I always created, all right? I always created, but I never published anything. So I always, you know, it was almost all of it was inner conflict. And it was like that for years, many years. And perhaps I needed that, because now I have so much energy to just give. So without that, you know, without the inner wisdom and then going out and give, you know, without the inner wisdom, you don't have a reason to go out and give. So in some sense, you should be despaired and then pull yourself out. You almost should become this. It's almost a tragedy when people don't do this in some sense, because most people are perhaps, you know, depressed, but not truly depressed. It's not despair. You see, that's why I separate depression and despair. You know, you have this general depression, but despair is layers deep. It is going to the very core of your being, where you start to ask yourself, you know, why does the universe exist, not just me, you know? So a lot of nihilists and, you know, all these people, I will make a video for them someday, but, well, one of these days perhaps, you know, a message to them, because I was that, so I want to pull those people out of it. But even if you're not one of those people, I still want you to become something great and follow something great. But you gotta have a lot of resistance first, and then you will become great. You gotta have a lot of resistance. Self-resistance first, and then also worldly resistance. Not everyone will like my book. Not everyone will, you know, as I said, I can't capture everyone. But in some sense, once you become great, you will, in some sense, capture everyone. Because the same way, you know, Nietzsche, for example, in the beginning, he didn't capture, no one knew who he was. He wasn't famous. He basically became famous at the end of his life, but then he was already mad, you know, he didn't know who he was. And so, you know, so in some sense, to his experience, that it was useless. But he also wrote it in his books that I'm writing for the future people, you know. But today, you know, millions and millions of people have read Nietzsche. So today he would have, obviously wouldn't have existed, well, he wouldn't have been alive now, but still, he still had 40 more years, or, you know, even more. So he died quite young. So what was it, like 44 years old, I think, or 45. So what I'm trying to say is, I don't want to be the same way as Nietzsche, you know. I don't want to be this tragic artist, genius artist thing, or, you know, doomer. You don't want to be this. You want to have great health, because that is everything. And no one else cares about your health except me, but almost no one cares about health. And I care because I know what it means to just almost self-creating this depression or despair. Almost creating it because I thought I was, you know, I even thought this. I used to think this. I am so boring, I need to become sick. And then I got sick, by the way. And, you know, I had shoulder injury, I had knee pain, I had many things. Hypochondria. And, you know, everything, you know, oral health, unhealth. And you see, my purpose is strong because of this behind me. That is why my purpose is strong. That is why my meaning is strong, so to speak. That is why I feel like a force of nature. And that is the thing I want to ignite in others without having to get into, perhaps you have to go into that. Perhaps you have to go to the depths. But I truly, what I want to do is to give a hope in that, hope in those people who already are in the depths and pull them out. That is one thing. And then, you know, keep going upwards in the heights, because there is a different way here. You don't have to become the tragic artist to create something great. You can do this with great health. All right, there is a different way. Now, obviously, the whole thing, the whole human condition is character. So in some sense, you needed this to build your character, to build character. So in some sense, you need both. Of course, you need both. But it is important that you pull yourself out of it, because killing yourself, or that's the worst part. So suicide or that is not the answer. And I'm not just saying that because, oh, that's not the answer. Because nothingness, you will become nothingness. And there is more to life. You think that this is all there is to life, but there is more to life. There are different experiences out there. Reality is multi-layered. There are, even in simplicity, in this simplistic, ascetic human life, there are layers to this. You feel spiritual, you feel instinctual, you feel much more emotional, you feel, but in a good way. You feel, in a great way. Also in a slightly, you might get slightly despaired sometimes, but you go in and you go out, all right? You don't, technically you don't go in, actually, because going in would mean it would take years, to pull yourself out. But it doesn't. So that means, but the fact that it doesn't means that you're developed yourself. So you're moving on. That mentality is nothing. There are new mentalities to reach. New life, as Nietzsche, as a yes-sayer to life, not just a naysayer. Obviously, we need to be naysayers as well. We can't just accept everything. But we move on. We create ourselves. We create the criteria as we want, our own terms, owning ourselves. That is the principle of owning yourself. So that is the truth, all right? That is the truth. That is the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help me, Nietzsche. So, all right. So yeah. So don't make gods out of your heroes either. It is important that you always keep ready, and always they too make mistakes. He was unhealthy, but actually his nutrition and ideas on nutrition and so forth. You see, he had ideas like that because he was sick and tried to find a way out of his sickness. You see, that is the reason why he existed. The negative existed so that the positive got created. Without him being unhealthy, he wouldn't have perhaps been Nietzsche. He would have been something else. Nietzsche, but someone else as Nietzsche, He wouldn't have. So he needed that despair. So the same for me, I need that initial despair to become which I am today. And so I never get into despair again. I already told everyone that this is it's the end of despair. It's the end of despair. There is no going back. The past is dead. Long live the future. And I can only walk upwards. There is no backwards now. There is no backwards. I can only move upwards exponentially. It's an exponential graph in everything I do here. In muscles, in everything. Gaining audience, all of it. And I'm not, you shouldn't be arrogant. Of course, you need to find what works. But that's the whole purpose here. To find all the tools that works and cut out. That's why you gotta get dirty and get into the trenches, so to speak, and learn, what exists, and then you pull out, all right, so the same way I did in calisthenics. I want to be big, I want to have muscles, but, I want to still, I want to do basics. I don't want to do all these tricks. So I found a person that is big or different people, actually, not just one, and still built muscles and is big and, but then I implemented with health and fasting, and thus me, So, well, obviously I haven't reached my genetic potential yet, not even close. I don't feel like I'm not even finished. I'm in the second year now. I'm only in my second year, so it will take me like 3 or 4 years to build, all this muscle. Perhaps even more, because it takes time as a natural to build muscles. It takes time to become something. Greatness takes time. All right, greatness takes time. So I want to put my whole soul into each and every video. That is the purpose of YouTube and all my videos here. That is the truth. That is the truth. And the purpose is ignition, of course, and helping you and all of those things. in practical terms, but also mindset terms or mentality. I usually call it mentality because it goes deeper. So words are important. So that's the truth, seek the truth, find the truth. You look for the criteria, what you're looking for, you look for that which, you want, and then you apply it, but also not just apply it, you combine it the way you want, and then it becomes you. That will become you, Dry fasting, OMAD, calisthenics in the park, all those criteria are mine. I want to be outside. I don't want to rely on equipment, it's free, of course, but that includes, that's included in the whole no equipment, and don't rely on anything except yourself, your own body and mind. So all those criteria. I want to be outside, fresh air and all those things. I want to see people. I want to talk to people. I want to be a role model for people. I want to surprise people. Calisthenics is not something everyone is doing in the park. And fasting, I want to teach people how to fast, how to have better health. So it's very hard to sell health. I think health is pretty hard to sell, actually. So I'm basically trying to sell health, but selling, it's not selling. I'm speaking the truth from my own, meaning here. But it's like this in everything. So I have all those criteria. I want to be big. I want to be big, but I never want to sacrifice my health. And the reason is, like I said, all the behind me. So you see, you have all these criterias. If you're unsure, just write them down if you want to clear your mind. But you will understand it better and better once you're starting. You gotta start. You gotta do the push-ups. You gotta start fasting. You gotta do OMAD a month. If you haven't done it, a week is not enough. You need a month or 2 months. Then you can say, all right, I tried OMAD, or all right, I tried dry fast OMAD, the thing I'm doing, and so forth. So you see, and if it doesn't work, of course you experiment. Of course you experiment. I've experimented, but then I found my thing. So that's the thing. I want to guide you towards finding your thing. That's the whole purpose. So anyway, that's the truth. If you have any problems, comment down below. If you have any problems with OMAD or fitness or idea how to be inspired or whatever it is, anything with mind and body, anything that's human, comment down below, ask me, share the video, like the video, dislike the video, I don't care. Share it in real life. It's actually more important to share it in real life to people, and spread the message that health is the meaning of life. Just spread that. People won't, you might put a seed in some people, that's the only thing I can do, put some, that's why I say golden seeds and golden grains out there. I just put a seed perhaps in you, and it might grow into something. So that's the deeper purpose, because that's me giving meaning. All right, those seeds are my meaning, my small creations. All right, so you see, and that's the meaning for my life, and but also in some sense indirectly for your life. Well, directly, not just indirectly, but I give meaning indirectly. Anyway, all my links will be down below. Facebook group, we can build a community or something. I want to build something in real life actually, but that will take time. So we will do this digitally first, and then we will increasingly move into real life, because I realize I want real life. I want to play the game of life, not the game of games. So I don't want the simulation. I want the real life reality. So I will see you tomorrow.